Hey guys, welcome to nzpocketguy.com. Today we're joined by Rahul, which immigrated to New Zealand, and today we're going to be telling you his story, where he's from, how did he get to New Zealand, and what he loves about this country that he's now calling home. All right, Rahul. So tell us a little bit about you. So where are you from? What's your job? What's your hobbies? Like who you are as a person?
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Robin. As you said, my name, Rahul. I'm basically from Bangalore, India. Bangalore comes in the southern part of India. It's also called the IT hub of Asia, Silicon Valley of Asia. So,
nice.
Yeah. And before moving to New Zealand, I was working as customer service executive for like four and a half years there. And that is when I thought, it's time for me to move up the ladder. And I decided to take up study as an option and shortlisted a couple of countries. Chose New Zealand. And coming to my hobbies, I'm from India, so obviously I'm a big fan of cricket. And also, I like playing table tennis. I like doing water sports in Rotorua, where I stay at the moment. We have a lot of options to do that actually. So I'm enjoying doing those. And also, one thing that New Zealand has taught me is like cooking. Cooking is something that I've never done in India, but I'm doing that now, and I'm loving it here.
Nice. What's your best dish? What do you cook best?
Chicken biryani. Oh, you should try that someday.
That does sounds good.
But let me warn you, it is spicy.
Oh yeah. So you mentioned that you had a couple of countries shortlisted to come to New Zealand. So what were the other countries?
I chose United States. Then Canada was in the list as well. And
so why did you choose
Australia
New Zealand? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. See, there are a couple of things why I chose New Zealand. First and foremost thing, when I decided to move to a different country, cost factor. It has to fit in my budget. And when you see all the countries that I've mentioned, New Zealand definitely fits into that bracket. It offers quality education at half the price of what other countries like US or Canada could offer me. And a better option of staying back after my studies was also like the topmost thing that I had in my mind. And yeah, New Zealand was the only country that was like fitting into that bracket.
Nice. So so once you decided that you did like New Zealand, and you really you done a little bit of research and everything, and you picked New Zealand out of all those countries, how did you decide to how did you get that started? How did you come to New Zealand?
So Robin, what I did was I was looking for I was checking for some education agency who can help me out in processing my visa. Then I found one which is based in Hamilton. I did contact them, and they got they were in touch with me, and they helped me in moving here. Like it was a very swift process. Did not find any obstructions or nothing like that. It all happened within 2 months.
Oh wow! So when was that?
So everything started in the month of October 2019, and then December is when I got my visa.
Wow! Oh, that was quite fast then.
Yes, it was.
And after getting your visa, how long did it take you to come to New Zealand?
I had only like a month time.
Oh,
I had to pack my bag and do all the shopping and stuff like that, and I just had like 1 month, and I moved here.
Wow!
So I came here in Jan. Yep.
Nice. And so, how did you find studying in New Zealand compared to studying in India?
Both these are two different things, because in India what we do is more emphasis is it is more emphasized on the theoretical part, but in New Zealand it's more practical. So two different viewpoints, I would say. I found this better because it's more interactive in a way. and it's more practical oriented. Obviously, you learn a lot when you're doing when you're into practical oriented studies. So I found this easier and a faster way to learn.
Nice. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about your time in New Zealand now. We talk about the paperwork and all this stuff. Let's talk about the fun part. So what is it that you like about New Zealand? Now that you've been here for about a year. Did you get to start loving New Zealand or not yet?
Oh yeah, I am completely in love with New Zealand. Honestly, I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying, but I mean it. What I've done so far is, apart from studying, I've also visited a lot of places in the Northern Ireland. And if you talk about the place that I stay right now, Rotorua, it has a lot to offer. As I told you, water sports, and since there are a lot of lakes around it, I do a lot of lakeside picnicking in the weekends. And then we have luge riding. That is something that I'm loving these days. I'm doing this
yes, it is fun.
Quite regularly now. It is fun. So yeah, and the thermal spas. Have you been to Rotorua? I'm sure you have.
Yes. Rotorua is a fantastic place. It's crazy with activities. Yeah.
Yes, and thermal spas and hot pools, something that I've never experienced in India. So this is something that I'm loving, and I actually stay very close to Polynesian Spa, which happens to be one of the best in the world. Yes. It comes in top 5.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving every moment so far. Yeah.
So now you're kind of a local of Rotorua, right? So if you were to have someone that tells you, I'm going to come for 2 days in Rotorua, what do you get them to do, and where do you get them to eat? 2 days.
I'll eat is something that I'll ask them if they're okay with Indian food, because there are plenty of Indian restaurants over here, so which are amazing. So if they are into Indian food, then definitely I'll take them there. Or else we have a lot of other Mexican restaurants, so we can always do that. And 2 days should be enough, but I think if you can extend it by another day or so, we will be able to cover a lot of places in Rotorua, because it is the hub of Maori culture. So we have a lot of Maori villages that we can always visit and spend some quality time. And I told you, like 18 lakes. It is amazing to spend some time over there. 3 days would be fantastic in Rotorua.
Nice. Okay, so what are your favorite things about New Zealand? We'll get back to that, kind of comparing New Zealand a bit. And
favorite things, I think, as I told you, one is the thermal spas. Yeah, that is one thing which is really good. And people I would say are very friendly over here. They're very approachable. And if you just walk out of your room, if you just go out for a walk and stuff like that, what you usually say is, people are just looking at you, they smile at you, they greet you, and they just move on. So that sometimes makes my day, because we don't know them, and just the friendly nature, if you see, sometimes brings smiles on my face. And I've worked here on part-time basis. What I've observed is, everybody is very equal over here. Like I've seen my managers mopping the floors and stuff like that, which it's a very flat hierarchy, if I have to say. It is amazing to see how you can chill out with your managers during your break time, even in office. There is no barrier as such. So that is one thing that I've loved here in New Zealand. And I once got pulled over by a cop. He thought maybe I was drunk and I was driving, but that was not the case. I would never do that. But the interaction that I had with the cop was amazing. I found cops are very, very friendly over here. Like for a moment, yes, I was like very terrified that I was wondering why did he pull me over. But then the whole experience was amazing. I did not get any ticket for that. Yeah, less crowd, less vehicle, less honking is something that I would say. It is the landscape. If you see the nature of New Zealand, like you drive for 10 minutes and you'll get a breathtaking view you can always capture and live with it for the rest of your life. So every 10 minutes you travel, there is a place for sure that you'll find, like, and you'll say wow. So,
that's very true.
yeah,
A road tripping
everywhere
through
I've
New
been,
Zealand always takes you a very long time because there's so many stops along the way. Like, I want to take a picture here. I want to take a picture there. I want to take a picture here.
Exactly. And I've always and I'm a person who captures a lot of pictures, and my friends, when I go out with them, and I'm making them stop every now and then, and they get pissed off at times. But yeah, that's how I am. I take a lot of pictures, and New Zealand is perfect for a person like me who has interest in cameras.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so if you were to look back at your time in India and look at your current time in New Zealand, what would you tell people, in India? Like, what would be the biggest difference, the thing that they need to prepare themselves for? Like, when coming to New Zealand for the, either the culture shock or the, the country shock or anything like that, in pros and cons, both of them, like, is there any major difference basically between New Zealand and India?
There is some difference, I would say, but generally, if you talk, people wherever you go are the same. What I've seen, some difference, I would say, is rules. Because in India, we tend to not follow all the rules, especially on roads, when you're on roads, when you're driving and stuff like that. But here it is very difficult, in the sense everybody follows rules here, so we have to be we have to make sure that we are following the rules. There's no leniency on that. And there would be cultural shock because in India, as I told you, there are less crowd. Here, when you see after 7 or 8 p.m, it becomes like a ghost town, if I can use that word.
Yes.
Everybody is early to bed over here, but in India, the fun starts after 8, right? So it's more crowd after 8. But here it's totally different, barring some cities like Auckland or Christchurch, I would say, because they are big cities, so it is expected for them to work even after 8. And then I would also say the climate could be harsh at times, because in India we are used to 40 degrees Celsius. 35-40 is something that it's very common out there. But since there's no ozone layer in New Zealand, even 28-30 degrees would be difficult at times to handle. So if you're prepared for that with all the lotions or sunscreen protections, I think it should be fine. But overall, people, I think the friendliness of the people is something that works out very well in New Zealand's favor. It's just that you can just approach anybody on road and talk to them. It's amazing. It's amazing how people are. I don't know if that is something that is taught, or if that comes up naturally with the Kiwis. But they have been very friendly and very approachable.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, New Zealand people are super approachable, and that's really what I feel kind of made me also love New Zealand. And actually, when I did a video about the pros and cons of New Zealand, that was one of the major pros that I had for New Zealand, was the fact that the people were really super friendly and super approachable, and it makes it so much easier to break into like kind of this barrier of social isolation that you can have when you immigrate into a country and you feel a little bit scared of not being able to make friends or not being able to kind of interact with people or hang out with your workmate. I feel like New Zealand kind of almost gets rid of that with the whole country attitude, which is so friendly.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, is there any any tips that you would like to give to people if they wanted to come and immigrate from India to New Zealand, or do you think we covered everything so far?
I think I can add some more things, like for all the students who are planning to go to, who are planning to immigrate, be it work-wise or education-wise, I think they should give New Zealand a try, because it is worth every single rupee that you spend, every single dollar that you spend. And New Zealand has, I feel like it is very underrated when it comes to education, because the big countries that take major chunk of Indian students, right? If New Zealand can market themselves as some study destination, I think it will work pretty fine. So for all those who are looking for who are looking to immigrate, I think New Zealand is one of the best options that you have at the moment. Also knowing the fact that the population of this country is just 5 million gives you a lot of opportunities. And since I was working in customer service, I was actually working for Danish based, a pharma. It was an IT customer service I was working for. And New Zealand being very new to IT, I would say there are a lot of opportunities here to get a job and move up the ladder very quickly. And a lot of Indian students who actually move to other countries are into ITs. So there is ample opportunities for them to consider New Zealand. And if you see, New Zealand is truly multicultural. The people from so many countries. I'd never expected so many people from different backgrounds that I would be coming over here and meeting and have a conversation with them. When people say why New Zealand, there's just one thing that comes to my mind, like, why not New Zealand? Like, it is amazing. It is amazing. Every day that I've spent over here has something new that I've experienced. So so far it has been good for me, and I'm sure it is the same with all my friends over here who have come along with me.
Nice.
I hope
Cool.
this continues. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for sharing your human story coming all the way from India to New Zealand. I hope that you're going to really enjoy your time here in New Zealand. If I can give you one tip, it would be to go and travel in the South Island of New Zealand. There is even more beautifulness to explore there, but I'm pretty sure you're going to have ample time to do that on your own later on. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to do much more human and people stories on the channel moving forward, just making sure that we show you both the life of New Zealanders as well as the life of immigrants into New Zealand, which are soon to become New Zealanders themselves. And if you want to feature in one of those videos, you can definitely reach out to us on Facebook, on Instagram, or even just in the comment section of this video. In the meantime, we're all going to thank Rahul for all his time, and you guys stay safe, have a fun time, and enjoy New Zealand.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. Lovely talking to you.